You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Discover Card. We treat you like you'd treat you, which is why we think annual fees are just ridiculous. We bet you do too. To see all the ways Discover is looking out for you, go to discover.com or give us a call at 1-800-DISCOVER. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. In the next few minutes, we are expecting the former undisputed middleweight champion of the world, the one and only Bernard Hopkins, to join me on this set to discuss the upcoming fight between Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. That's why I'm coming at you live from the Paris Hotel in Vegas at Beer Park right here off the Strip, because let me tell you something right now. That's why you're in Vegas. It's the biggest fight of the year. This is one of the biggest fights this decade. And if the first go-round between Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, and Saul Canelo Alvarez was any indication, boy, what a fight you're going to see tomorrow night. T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's why I'm here. But that doesn't mean I'm going to negate talking about some of the NFL action that's set to take place this weekend. And we all know what's one of the biggest games is. One of the biggest games is the New York Giants visiting the Dallas Cowboys. And here's the bottom line in my estimation. The Dallas Cowboys cannot afford to go 0-2. If the Dallas Cowboys go 0-2, 90% of teams in the NFL who start 0-2 do not make the playoffs. Why in the hell would I believe that Dallas would be some exception? Why would I believe that? I know you got Sean Lee there who can play. I know you got DeMarcus Lawrence there. I get it. I understand it. Randy Gregory, we don't know about his eligibility. We don't know whether he's going to be available. I don't think he's in trouble. He hasn't got suspended yet. The reports they're saying are erroneous as it pertains to an imminent suspension coming his way for yet another failed drug test. But we don't know. Here's what we do know. Dak Prescott has looked like a shell of himself over the last 9 games. Barely passing for 200 yards half the time. Can't score more than 10 points, put him on the board. Last week, if that was any indication, Ezekiel Elliott, who rushed 24 and 21 times per game respectively over the first 2 years of his career. Last week, week 1, he gets to carry the ball 15 times. When does that work for the Dallas Cowboys? And then to really, really add insult, you've got somebody like Troy Aikman, a former 3-time Super Bowl champion. Troy Aikman, a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys. He talks about, because it's not like he's sitting at home minding the Dallas Cowboys business. He has a job. He's a color analyst for Fox. He's calling the game with the great Joe Buck. He watches the Dallas Cowboys, sees a lack of innovation, a lack of creativity, very much predictable stuff that's relatively transparent. And he says, where's the ingenuity here? Where's the creativity here? And what is Stephen Jones' response? Stephen Jones, the executive VP for the Dallas Cowboys, who's only in that position because his daddy owns the team. Let's just call it what it is. And this dude has the gall, the unmitigated gall, the audacity to sit up there and say, quote, Troy Aikman is an armchair quarterback. Troy Aikman, 3-time Super Bowl champion Troy Aikman. You have been nothing since he's left. Nothing. If anybody's qualified to comment about the Dallas Cowboys since you've been irrelevant since he's departed, it would be him. I would remind America, I would remind the football world, did you know that since Troy Aikman left the Dallas Cowboys, they've won 2 games in 25 years. Now, let's put that in its proper perspective. The last time the Dallas Cowboys were relevant, Bill Clinton was president en route to being impeached over the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Last time the Dallas Cowboys were relevant, my hairline was about 3 feet forward, and I had an afro comparable to Michael Jackson when he was young, not the perm when he got older. I'm talking about the afro. Okay? Last time the Dallas Cowboys were relevant, George W. Bush was a governor. I'm sorry, an owner of a baseball team, the Texas Rangers. Okay? Let's put this in its proper perspective. Last time the Dallas Cowboys were relevant, Mike Tyson was fighting. This is the truth. Last time Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys were relevant, John Elway was still looking for his first Super Bowl ring. LeBron James wasn't even a teenager. Michael Jordan was still playing for Chicago, not the Wizards. There was no Dwayne Wade. There was no LeBron James. There was no Carmelo Anthony. Kobe Bryant hadn't even gotten drafted. He was in high school taking Brandy to the prom. And that was a year later. That was the last time the Cowboys were relevant, and Troy Aikman was throwing darts to Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith. Our very own Darren Woodson here at ESPN was a safety. This man delivers you not one, not two, but 3 Super Bowl rings, and you're Stephen Jones with your silver spoon wearing irrelevant self. Go sit up there and call him an armchair quarterback. Well, I got news for you, Stephen Jones. Troy Aikman, as an armchair quarterback, is better than anything you've ever had since you arrived in Dallas with your daddy. This is a fact, and it is undisputed. What the hell has Stephen Jones done to call Troy Aikman an armchair quarterback? Who the hell do you think you are, privileged one? Have you ever eaten from a spoon that wasn't silver? How about that question? This isn't Jerry Jones who said this. This is Stephen Jones, who is Mr. Irrelevant if it wasn't for his daddy. And who the hell do you think you are to talk about Troy Aikman like that? Now, in fairness, Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, the play caller for the Dallas Cowboys, at least he had the decency to be respectful, said Troy Aikman was entitled to his opinion. He could say what he wants. It's our job to prove him wrong. That's a reasonable and respectable response. Stephen Jones lacks appreciation for a tradition he had absolutely nothing to do with in the Dallas Cowboys with the Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith era. Nothing irks my nerves more than privileged fools who have done nothing but benefited from their birth. This isn't Jerry Jones saying this. This is Stephen Jones. The hell have you done to say something like that? To call Troy Aikman and be so dismissive and disrespectful towards him? The hell do you think you are? Now, having said all of that, Giants got some issues now. Because Landon Collins, talking about he wants Dak Prescott to have the ball in his hands instead of Ezekiel Elliott. Dak Prescott said, I accept the challenge. Now, the message to Dak Prescott, you ain't the Black Panther. You ain't T'Challa, the king. You can accept challenges all you want, but at the end of the day, you got to answer the call. And over the last 9 games, you haven't done it. Now, is that his fault? Totally? No. Des Bryant lost a step. Jason Witt clearly lost a step. Both of them are gone. Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, Alan Hearns. No. He's not exactly flummoxed with or just inundated with weapons extraordinaire. That's not what Dak Prescott has at his disposal. We understand it. We accept it. But he still got to show up. A couple of years ago, y'all, we were talking about Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, who was going to be the future star in the National Football League. Dak Prescott ain't even a part of the conversation anymore. His star has dimmed considerably, and Dak Prescott's got to get it together or else. Or else. He ain't the only one, though. Are we going to just bypass Jason Garrett and not talk about the need for him to go? If Dallas goes 0-2, their season's in trouble. Now, some would say the same is applicable to the Giants. I don't believe that. I truly, truly don't. I sit up there and I look at the New York Giants. Listen, I'm of the mindset, I think about Eli Manning. Yeah, he's 37 years of age. Yes, he's not what he used to be, but damn it, he's still a two-time Super Bowl champion, Eli Manning. He'll get it together. I look at OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. We know how special he is. We know how special he is. Sterling Shepard, we know he can play. Evan Ingram, we know he can play. And Saquon Barkley, we saw enough flashes to know what he could do. By the way, when you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes, set up screening questions based on your job requirements, then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Craving even more of Stephen A?
Him of all people.
For around-the-clock access to the man?
I'm Stephen A.
You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Stephen A. Smith and on Facebook at